Hey everyone, I'm Nathan, and today we're revisiting a bit of a comfort watch for me. We're talking about the Tarot episode, which is when the Drawfee gang randomly drew up tarot cards for them to draw themselves into, and I love this episode, especially like the gags in it. I love that Julia gets to be in her element with design, and Jacob randomly got the Fool, which if you watch the video, it's like the most iconic part. But this video is from 2020, so it's now 3 years old, so I thought I would sort of give it a little update with sort of the more recent Drawfee bits, and sort of update the characters represented in the cards. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the speed draw. So the first thing you're gonna see are these blinking rectangles because I had to divide the picture plane into our 4 tarot cards, and the first one up is of course the Fool, which is Jacob's card. I wanted to go in chronological order, but as you can see, I took a lot of inspiration from the original card. I love the dog and I love the sun in the corner. And I loved him holding this little rose. So I wanted those to be our 3 main elements for this card. I replaced the dog with Joy and Olive, which just made perfect sense. I love being able to draw the little producers in the corner, and I love drawing. I always get mixed up which one actually wears the neck collar. I think it is Olive, or maybe it is Joy. I don't know. I have like cat face blindness, so I can't really tell them apart. But yeah, I just included both of them there. I did like look it up at the time I was drawing it to try to get their, eye patches of their fur correct and lined up. And then in the other corner where the sun is, I put Nathan because of course he's the Sun Tarot card. This is the most realistic of the 4, and I really wanted to give it sort of the feeling like you just walked out in Central Park and you see the most zenful, at peace, not stressed Jacob walking around. So that was like my gift to him. And it looks like Nathan is sort of leaning in as if someone's taking a photo of this very calm, at peace Jacob, and he's photobombing it and crashing it and sort of leaning over into the image. It's a little uncanny, but I like it a lot. I think these images are allowed to be uncanny and a little magical and weird. But yeah, if there's any witchcraft or magic that I'm doing by drawing this, I want it to, give Jacob the gift of not being stressed out, because I feel like every time he draws himself, he's either sweating or panicked or stressed, especially in this episode. Maybe this was the origin of that running gag, but I wanted to draw him being happy and not stressed out, so hopefully his reality can reflect that a little bit. I also replaced his little stick with his little sack with the belongings in from the original Fool with his new bass guitar. I think it's his new one. At least in his Secret Sleepover Society streams, he showed it off when he was playing Mario. I really like those ones just because I feel like they're fun and cute, and who doesn't like Mario running around in an RPG? It's just a great setting. Oh, we're on to the coloring! How great! Normally, when I'm drawing, I have a step where I get rid of my initial underdrawing or my sketch layer, and I ink on top of that with cleaner lines. However, I realized that I loved this sketch layer so much, and it was already so clean that I didn't want to get rid of it. So instead of redrawing on top of it, essentially, I just skipped a step and I turned that sketch into my inking. And that made it feel a lot more like drawing when I was younger, especially in high school when I had to use, just pencil and paper. You don't, grab another piece of paper and do a nice ink layer on top. No, you just keep erasing the lines until they're perfectly whatever you want them to be. So I liked switching up my art style a little bit in that, and it kind of gave me permission to not be as formulaic and to do new things, which is really fun. You can see that I've already added the logo onto Jacob's shirt, repping the Secret Sleepover Society merch, which is really fun. I really enjoyed watching those streams, and I think the last element that I want to touch on besides New York City is going to spring into existence in a little bit in the background is the rose, which the Fool is like carrying. I kept trying to think of a joke, like what could Jacob be holding instead of a rose? And my brain just kept thinking like stylus, like a drawing stylus for a Cintiq, which I don't know, it was just so boring. So I leave that blank and I totally finished this tarot card before Yeah, and I move on to Karina's before I actually get the joke in there. And I'm like, I'll figure it out once I get to Karina what it'll be. And yeah, like I talked about that surrealism earlier, I thought it would be fun if some of the images are busting out of their cards and overlapping with other ones, like this little hand, which is going into Karina's Empress card. I just thought that was fun. So here's where the background is going to start popping into existence. I initially was going to set it in the nighttime, but I end up going with the daytime. Which I just think is better because I just loved how graphic it was. I love the blue sky, this dark, dark, dark cityscape lines, those little hints of clouds. It's just so cute to me. Yeah, and that's pretty much the whole image. And now we're on to Karina's run. Her Empress card is magnificent. She followed it pretty well, so I wanted to keep the sitting pose, of course, but just sort of give it more human proportions in my style than the cartoony style Karina did in the initial image, which is really fun. And she was holding a scepter in the original tarot card, the Empress, and I was like, oh, what if instead of a scepter, she's just carrying a stop sign, like she's telling Jacob to stop. It just had a lot of Karina energy. And then on the other hand, I had her reading a tiny book, which I imagine to be some sort of manhwa of a very rare shitpost ship that she maybe invented 4 years ago and then forgot about. And then on her trip to, I don't know, South Korea, she discovered that this manhwa had been written. That's like my headcanon for Empress Karina and why she's reading this little book. But yeah, that was really fun. I don't know. I loved her little socks. That was another funny part of the original video. She talked about, I don't know, just go watch the original video. I'll put a link in the description. It's good. It's great. It's a good supplementary material to this video. Check it out. Here I fixed the crown, so it kind of looks more like it's on top of her head and it's not receding inwards, which is super fun. We addressed that hand and that stop sign. Ooh, lots of fun. But yeah, I think the big challenge for Karina's was, what are the updated bits? Like, what are the equivalents? So she had the horrible demon train, which, if you know this channel, is my arch nemesis. So I am not including him here. So I needed something to replace him with, and obviously that was going to be the Sonic Saga, because I asked my Patreon members what characters should be updated and represented in this video. And they said the Sonic characters, which I just think was so smart. Thank you, Patreon. If you want to give me little requests for characters you want to see in the background of these videos, just hop on over to Patreon. It's just a couple bucks a month, and you get to tell me what to draw. How fun. And you get to really influence these videos in a very direct way. So I highly recommend you check it out. I'm just adding these flowers now and addressing the background, and I'm about to add the Sonic characters, a little Knuckles under the bush and a little Sonic up in a tree. And while I was drawing them, it hit me. I remembered the cold steel Italian Cinque Dia, which would be the perfect thing for Jacob's hand. I can't believe I didn't think of it sooner. I don't know what Sonic drawing made me go to this gag, but it just worked. It was right. And then there we go. I was in a bit mindset, and everything was coming out like a flow state. I included that little biblically accurate angel in the background too, the one that yells, "Stop the violence," because I felt like she belonged. She was sort of the equivalent of the large tooth pudding that used to be in this image. And then as for who replaces Kaiba, that was a big decision for me, because Kaiba was fulfilling the role that like Goofy and Legoshi have filled in more recent Drawfee years. But I also could have done Tiger and Bunny. Like, there were a lot to choose from, but I end up going with Legoshi. Spoilers, but I end up going with Legoshi just because here he is. I felt like he was the most fitting. It was really hard to draw his wolf head in an angle, but I wanted him kind of looking at Sonic and being aware that Sonic was there. Not Sonic. Oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. I'm not an idiot. I'm very smart. Sometimes I make mistakes when I talk. Everyone does it. I'm kind to myself, and you should be kind to yourself. Yeah, Legoshi is looking at Knuckles, and I liked that little moment. I loved drawing out his little butt. There's a lot of butts in these images. It's a very Nathan-centric I don't know, whenever I draw a male character, their posterior is cheating out to the audience. What do you want me to do? But as we go on to Julia, over here with the Tower card, I get rid of that butt because I end up realizing Julia was going to be in the corner, and I don't want to be disrespectful to Julia. So she does not get a Legoshi butt to her ear. She gets her own little space to sort of occupy. Now, also thanks to my Patreon members who told me that the Drawtectives characters had to be represented in Julia's card, I thought that was exactly right. So the big thing about the Tower, as you can see here, is that there's like this magnificent falling crown, which I just think is gorgeous. So this is the scenario. The Drawtectives gang were doing a heist in this tower where they're supposed to get the king's crown, I don't know, for some heroic reasons to solve the adventure. So they're all end up falling from this tower because of dubious means. I don't know, maybe some big shot wizard cast a spell and things are exploding. So all of the Drawtectives gangs are falling and they're yelling at Eugene, "Catch the crown!" like over their own safety. I'm sure they'll be fine because they'll have plenty of tricks up their sleeves. Yeah, but I just loved the idea of drawing them falling from this tower, and telling Eugene to catch the crown. And that gave me another little pop-out breakaway image. Then there were fields of wheat in the original image. I don't know what fields of wheats look like. So I found this image on Google, and I'm going to use it as a reference, because we're like really high up. I need to know what those geometrical shapes are like. But yeah, I'm sketching a little forward right now, which is very fun. Do some shadows on Legoshi. I guess I had to backtrack a little bit. And now we're on to the inking. I had to get Eugene's big, bright eyes. Like, he looks so confused, like, oh, what am I doing? Oh, I guess that's the crown. I guess I'm going to catch it. He's such an innocent little baby boy. I love him. So I hope that he's able to do it. I think he will be. There's the crown that's also kind of breaking into the Empress card a little bit, which I just think is fun and cheeky. I kind of straighten up these windows, which is nice. Yeah, and then we start our coloring of the crown and coloring of all of our Eugene, which is super fun. Ooh, look at that metal, so nice. Now we're inking York. And the thing about York is he's dressed as a Chippendale. I don't know why I did this, but they're undercover for this heist, right? So I think they can't really be who they really are. For some reason, York is a Chippendale. Maybe he was serving as a waiter at this Wizard Tower event. And yeah, so he's going to be shirtless with just a little bow tie and black pants with a white belt. Very Chippendale style. And then Grendon just looks super cute. I use a slightly different coloration once we get to that step. So it's not their usual jumper or party suit, play suit, romper, that's the word. It's a different pattern because, they can wear different clothing. That's totally allowed. And, of course, a rosé also falling from the sky, which is, typical of my little crazy kids. Look at them go. Oh, and then here we have Julia, which, as you may notice, I did the big update of drawing Julia with her short hair. Hello. One of the big differences between the image is the iconic Julia ponytail is gone. It is no more. Now she is rocking that beautiful Leonardo DiCaprio hair from Romeo plus Juliet or Titanic, which I just think she rocks so well. I'm so happy for her. I love when the girlies update our looks. Very iconic, very wonderful. So yeah, I just thought that was cute. I thought it was cute. And it's an update. And I'm really glad that it happened just in time for me to sneak it into this video, which is so cool. Because I would have been so mad if she cut her hair before this video came out. That would have been so sad. Oh, I love these clouds. And I love how they're casting shadows down below. That's the one thing. I went on a plane ride once to go to my cousin's wedding. And I was shocked that clouds cast shadows onto the earth, which is silly. That's a very silly thing because of course they do. That's how science works. But I didn't know that. I locked the perspective to really understand how that felt or how that looked. So there are my cute little Mario Kart Steven Universe clouds and the shadows that they're casting to really get that atmospheric perspective and that depth. It made me really happy. I had some red carpet in the tower that's like winding up. and some beautiful glow on the crown and everything. And yeah, now I'm coloring Julia. And now we're coloring the gang. So this is that Chippendale outfit for York, like I promised. And then his green, the white belt. And then this cute little romper for Grendon, which is also very nice. Our classic rosé. And a classic little... Why is Eugene shirtless? Well, because Eugene's always shirtless, even in the original art. But you didn't notice that because he's wearing a cape. But if he's inside, maybe he got hot, so he put his cape down. It's just easier to draw people when they're wearing less clothing. Stop coming for my gig. Yeah, so that was really fun. Oh, and then for Julia, I also gave her, fonts. Here they are. Look at them go. Yeah. Oh, dang it. Okay, I'm just going to say this really quick, even though we're already on to the next drawing. I gave Julia little, red eyeliner, so it's sort of like she's wearing the same makeup that Eugene wears, because that's her Blorbo, and I just thought that was cute. Okay, I'm done. Now, on to Nathan's The Sun card. His was the most simple, because it was literally just his face on the sun. So I wanted to add an actual baby, so here's Merobiba. There's no way around it. As you can see in the original tarot card here, there's a baby on a horse. So I had to draw Nathan's biggest achievement of 2023, which was Merobiba, resident baby, on a Jacob horse. It had to be done. And this image is so cute. This is my favorite card. It's just so utterly perfect, and it's so Drawfee. If they made a Drawfee tarot card, this would have to be the image. It's just so adorable. I also love getting to show y'all my take on Merobiba. I think she's so charming. And my thing is, I'm horrifically sincere with my art. You all know this. I have difficulty doing irony or making things jokey, but yeah, my favorite version of Merobiba is when I don't know, in my head, she's just this wonderful, free little girl riding on her Jacob horse through the sunflowers, and I just made her really cute. And yeah, it was really fun. I love getting to add all these sunflowers, and just I love the perspective in this, because you have this winding, twisty Jacob horse coming out from this field of sunflowers, and I love how her hair is behind the horse and behind some of the flowers, so it really feels like they're coming at us. I don't know. I know that's simple, but it makes me happy. As for these stalks, I didn't actually model these off of sunflower stalks because they didn't look good to me, so I modeled them off of corn stalks, and yeah, that just looked better, and so I did it. There's a fantastical horse. We can have some fantastical plants. Yeah, as for the Nathan in this piece, he's just standing in front of the sun on a ladder that is also very surreal. This ladder is leaning against nothing, so it should, according to science, fall over. Yet it's perfectly at this diagonal, and he's going to be climbing it up. And he's saying something, which my Patreon members also got to share. Yeah. Oh, here I'm just adjusting. We're doing a little bit more graphic design. Got to get these fonts just right. Yeah. And now we're on to that Nathan drawing that I was describing earlier, but before we get there, I do something a little controversial to Merobiba. I make her dress purple. Now let me explain myself. So I know that Merobiba wears a blue, or sometimes in animations a green dress. I just felt like she looked good in purple. Will I be panned by the Drawfee community for this decision? Is she really Merobiba if she's wearing a purple dress? I think so. I think it's allowed. I just think it's just such a cute color next to her hair, the shade of ginger that I chose. So you can come at me in the comments down below for giving her a purple dress. I can handle it. Unless you secretly think it looks really cute, and then tell me you like it down below. Okay. Yeah. I completely skipped. Look at me doing this, son. It's all just happening. I already described the weird stuff. There's the words. He says that's a pretzel. The Jacob horse just looks like a pretzel. If you saw him in the wild twisting and turning, you might think he was a bread. So there are many layers to this joke, but this is the finished image. Which was your favorite update on the tarot cards? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like and maybe subscribe. I don't know, hit the bell so that you never miss a video. Oh gosh, we talking like a YouTuber. Anyway, I'm really proud of how the illustrations came out, especially the Mero Biba one was so satisfying. I need to draw so much fan art of her. I also liked how the Empress card feels very Alice in Wonderland. With all that being said, thank you to my Patreon members for making this video possible. The link is in the description down below if you want to join the Patreon, where for just $4 a month, you can have your name in the end credits. And speaking of end credits, here they are now. Special thanks to Anna Sophia Boyd, Axelius the Great, Bodhi, Blue Uwu, Kay Clark, Christopher, Dabadoodoo, Dax Quinn, Aaron Martin, Emma Wee, Gay Jarris, Jay Johar, JD Boy 2000, Johan, Kitsune Chibiko, Lucky Paradox, Melon, Mild Mothman, Native Runner, Orion Amastasia, Pinecone, Potion Cellar Door, Rin, Scorching Ray, Sir Camelot, Smalls the Sax Jammer, Shenanigans, Tad the Turtle, Tarthalinor, The Real Michael, Thumper Daytime, Thony, Tortilla Chips, Tuesdays Anyways, Tundra Katie Bean, and Tuppence Pies. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Nathan, and I'll upload a new video real soon. Bye!